Okay, hello. I am Nicole, and I wanted to tell you guys about my bootcamp experience. Just because it was very different from all the videos that I've watched on YouTube. And let me tell you, like, I was paranoid. I wanted to know everything before I left, so I watched almost all the videos that were on YouTube before I left. So I went through processing and everything for MEPS. Sorry, my camera's moving. I went through processing and everything was good. I was good to go. I have what's called tinnitus in my left ear, so I have constant ringing, and it kind of messes with my hearing. Um, but I made it through the MEPS area, like their medical stuff, so I thought it was good. Um, so I get to boot camp, and I got there January 27th. When you get there, it is like the scariest part of your life because they make you sit down after you get all your gear, like go to Diddy Bag Issue, get all your stuff, pee in front of like 8 other girls, and it's not like how it is at MEPS. You're like literally there's just a room with 8 toilets and you're peeing. It's not like you have that divided area. Um, so yeah, after all of that, they make you stay up for 48 hours. You have people yelling at you. I didn't personally get yelled at the whole time I was at boot camp, but I like stayed under the radar. I did what I was told and I just slid by. Then you go, while you're up for 48 hours, you're starting your P days, but I was on P hold. My division, 131, hoo-yah, was on P hold for about a week and a half before we actually got processed. And what that is you're just like putting your name on everything and stenciling and learning how to march and stuff like that. At least my division learned how to march. Some people didn't, and I learned that later on. It's just we had so much time to do everything. So yeah, so after that we went through P1, P3, P2, P3, and P1. I think it's all a blur because it was just so much at once. But P1 was dental. They look at your teeth and everything, and then P2 is blood. They draw your blood, and then P3 is vision and hearing. So I go through hearing. I obviously passed vision. I go through hearing, and they do a bunch of tests on me because I'm not passing the test, and they don't know what's wrong. And apparently, I have like ear hair cell damage, which is pretty much not correctable. So on P3, they separated me from my division, and I was freaking out because this was supposed to be my life, and they didn't tell me that you can get separated. Like, nobody ever talked about there being a separation division. But it's true. It happens to a lot of people, more so than what you would think while you're in boot camp. And I learned a lot from that, and I wanted to share that with you guys. Just everything that went on in separations and how that worked. So for separations, it's like getting asthmaed out of your division. If you mess up, if you took food from the galley and got caught, you get asthmaed out. But after a certain amount of asthmos, you pretty much get sent to separations. And I was just automatically separated for a medical discharge, which sucks. It sucks so much. Like, I still don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. But yeah, so I got separated, and they make you go to your division. You go back to Pearl Harbor. First they take you to, well, I was at Red Rover, so then they took me to Pearl Harbor, ship 1, and they made me pack up all my stuff back into my sea bag. Then my little crying face walked over to the fishbowl, which is like an office, and it's in the middle of the building. Senior chief can walk by at any moment, which I got yelled at for talking to my best friend. She later became my best friend because she was being separated too. But yeah, so you wait in there, and then, sorry, I'm like trying to remember everything. You wait in there, they send you in like this van thing to ship 5, which is for people who are waiting for their A school or going into separations. and you pretty much get put into this whole other division. Now, even though I was only in boot camp, like actual boot camp, for about a week and a half to 2 weeks, it does change you a lot because you're constantly doing the same things over. You're constantly getting yelled at. You're constantly told what's, like, how to act, how to say things, how to write a certain way. And so I walked in to this division and see people watching TV and coloring, and like they weren't inboard, they were outboard of the ship. So I was like really confused because they were just chilling. So then they say whatever, like they took my inventory, and the whole time I'm confused and I'm upset. But I got to talk to people, and they were like, okay, so you can hygiene now. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I've got 5 minutes to hygiene. Like that was drilled into my head. No, they're like, you have an hour to chill and hygiene and take care of yourself. And I'm like, what, an hour? So obviously, like, I went through hygiene. I rushed because I still felt like I only needed 5 minutes. And I remember the first night being there, I was brushing my teeth, like, super fast, trying to get ready for taps. Taps is, like, when they put you to bed. Not actually put you to bed, because that sounds like a child thing, but when you go to sleep. I remember brushing my teeth so fast and then looking at everyone around me, and they're just chilling, brushing their teeth slowly, talking to their friends. I'm like, what is this? What is this division? Like, what have I been put into? Yeah, so that was kind of crazy. And then they give you these name tags, like you're freaking a Jew back in Germany with freaking Hitler, like these huge name tags that are neon colors, and it just says, hey, look at me, I'm getting separated from the Navy. And you notice, like, I was in separations for about 4 weeks. The whole time you're in there, you get so disrespected. Like, people look at you and they're like, oh, they're just separations. Like, they did something to screw up. And really, it sucks because I did nothing. I did nothing to screw up. Like, I'm fully capable of going through boot camp. So, I don't know. It was really, it sucked ass. This video is so long. I might have to, like, do 2. But yeah, so I went through that, and it's hard because people look at you and they think you fucked up, and you didn't. Some people did, but in most cases, like, compared to others, didn't. There are other people there that are, most people that are in separations are separated for anxiety or depression. So if you know you have that before you leave, make sure that you stay positive throughout boot camp. Don't let it get to you, because that's like the number one thing of people getting separated, at least when I was getting separated. Now, while you're going through separations, this is all you're allowed to do. For the female house, it was Mondays and Wednesdays you go to the next, and Saturdays you go to the next, or recruit heaven. And then Tuesdays, Thursdays, you go to the lounge. And the lounge is like this room. It has computers that you can pay for to get on Facebook and stuff, and then they have a bunch of like arcade games and snacks. So I'm over here eating my emotions away like a fatty, and it just, I don't know, it sucked. Like, my main thing, like, I don't even want to tell you guys like everything that went on, because there's like a bunch of lesbian stuff that was going on in the compartment, and CO's top 6 meant nothing. Like, everyone was breaking the CO's top 6, and the UCMJ, like, everything. We still had bunk inspections, rack inspections, and uniform inspections, but they were nothing. They were nothing compared to actual boot camp. Like, it was crazy. But yeah, just pretty much, like, I want to inform people that before you go to boot camp, make sure you have your shit together. And if you stand up during the moment of truth for something medical, don't do it. Just don't do it, because they don't. I know this sounds stupid, like I shouldn't be saying this, but I've never seen, like, I went to Moment of Truth and nobody got in trouble for medical unless they stood up for it. Now, granted, my information was on my records. Like, I told them I had tinnitus and everything, so I left with a code RE3, which means I can come back to the Navy or any military branch with a waiver. But just, if you really want to be in the Navy, don't stand up for freaking medical. The only thing that they can get is your federal offenses. So if you've been in a, like, you had a DUI or something, they can pull that up off your records. So don't be that idiot that sits there and you know you have something on your actual, like, record that's not medical, because they will point you out. And Master Chief, he is scary. I remember my whole face from my ears, my face, my neck down, super red scarlet, and that's partly because I'm a ginger, but still, I was freaking out, and I didn't even have anything wrong. Like, I put all my shit on my record, but I still freaked out because the way he yells at you is, like, it makes you feel like you're guilty even though you're not. So yeah, I want to let you guys know that make sure if your recruiter told you to leave something out, put it on there, put it on your information, because if it comes up later in boot camp, you could get screwed up, you could get screwed over. There were girls that were a day or two away from graduating, and they got separated. And it's like, where do you go from there? Because now you have to wait 4 weeks. You have to wait 2 weeks to go to legal to get your stuff processed. Then you have to wait a week to get signed. And then you wait another week to go back home. So at least that was mine. Some people got sent out earlier. But, excuse me, they lost my medical records too. So that could have had something to do with it. But just, like, make sure your shit's together. Because being separated absolutely sucks. Especially when that was, like, the one thing I personally, like, had dreams of doing and being with my life, and now I have to figure out something else. And granted, I did get paid. I got paid while I was there, but it sucks. So just make sure all your stuff is together and you are set. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I know my video is super long, and I say a lot, and I'm really weird, like, for how I speak, I guess. But yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. I can tell you what happened during boot camp if you want to know that, like, the specifics and what actually happened in separations. But I just really wanted people to know that you can get separated. And I'm not trying to put you down. I'm just, like, trying to let you be informed because I wasn't informed. And now my recruiters won't pick up, even though I just wanted to thank them for all the stuff that they did to help me get through. But whatever, salty AF. So yeah, just leave your comments below and I shall answer them. Bye.